Dear Venerables, Dhamma friends, today also we are going to start our day's question and answer session. So we'll invite Lakshmi to present the written questions. And before that I have a request. Tomorrow we are going to organize a Satipasala camp for children in the close by school. So I would like to borrow these plastic mats for tomorrow. Because we get the school hall where 200 people will come and very difficult to give the sitting cushions. So you may just manage for tomorrow and please lend us all the plastic mats. Only the plastic mats. And tomorrow by 8 o'clock, it must be ready, please. There's the thing is that if they take it out, will they destroy it or whether this will maintain properly is the problem. So if the organizers can assure, that will be very nice because children can't sit just on this thing. So we have to think about whatever may be excess we may, but if someone has taken responsibility about the taking and using carefully and returning, so sometimes they may consider, but mats for sure. For you tomorrow, that is the only way we can think about for lending the mat, the cushion. That also have the problem because many people they are not using properly. If it is so, the donors may not be happy. So some or the other we may make use the plastic mats, and you have to think about a way out that normal mats would do for you if you need. Otherwise you can just do with the cushion. Okay. Now for Lakshmi.
Thank you, Venerable Sir. We have, I think, 7 questions, out of which 5 of them are on walking meditation, and 1 or 2 of the 5 include also sitting and other activities. 2 of them are on Dhamma. Most Venerable Bhante, walking meditation and day-to-day life. Primary object, left-right leg movement. Can feel mind present in the body. I note the left and right leg movement, but in current walking sessions, noting is not needed. Can mindfully look at leg movements. I can feel weight shifting to the left or the right with each leg movement. Different sensations on the sole of the feet are felt. Can feel the consecutive movement pattern, first the heel, then the sole, and then the toes touch the ground. Most of the time I can feel the mind present in the foot movements and sometimes in the body. Distracting thoughts flow, but the mind is observed to be returning to the body or the primary object. In my last walking session, boredom sets in as I keep my mind in my body or present moment. This happens gradually. In some sessions lasting up to an hour, sleepiness sets in, but I try my best to keep mindfulness even though these behaviors occur. Bhante, if you have time, can you clarify a small question? In my day-to-day life, my family members tell me that I am forgetful even though I meditate, and that I have little or no mindfulness. Am I forgetful because of a weakness in my mindfulness? Much merit to you, Bhante. May you attain Nibbana in this life itself.
So usually unwanted thing you become forgetful. If it is not important, that go forget. If it is important, it is not. So that's why when the husband never heard and listened to wife's sound, wife's voice. It's not important thing, come and again, chattering. He never hear, he never remember. And whatever the husband says, wife never care, wife never listen. So likewise in the school also, some subject matters I can't remember because it is useless. But we have to have some exams and we have to remember, so we are remembering it. Just like eating raw straw. The cows are chewing that straw. Know when it is, just keep on eating like. So therefore even the particular person can't judge with the remembering and mindfulness relationship, how the householders can, how the family members can decide. So whenever the reshuffling happens, a lot of unwanted things throw away, even under the 5-year system. So exactly the thing happen in the mind also. So therefore, the other people may come, they will give their value judgment, but very difficult for you to give a value judgment of another's mind setup or stream of consciousness. So therefore, nothing to worry. As far as if you feel mindfulness, the awareness, the diligence, the vigilance increasing, just listen and forget about the family members' criticisms. You have a big bag to throw away, what should be forgetful, put into that. Otherwise you will never be a manager. If you wish to be a manager, you must have a big waste paper basket, throw everything and only take the important thing what you think, not the others are telling. Then only you can manage yourself. Therefore, the things are happening, bombarding objects are billions. But what you select for the moment is done by the volitional activities, and ultimately volition decides the consciousness. So likewise, we can't keep every information, every bit of information in our mind. We have the limited capacity. Within 24 hours, 50% gone. Within 100 years, 100% gone. So therefore, what is going out is unimportant thing. And main thing is not to worry. And forgetting and worrying, definitely will go to asylum. Your family members will send you to asylum. You go. So likewise, this is happening. So be careful. Take care about the mindfulness, the vigilance, the awareness, and it will answer within first and without second. Even though it is not been requested, I would like to comment about this sleepiness and the boredom. The sleepiness and the boredom sets in when there is no physical and mental diseases. Please make sure. They come in when there is no headache, no problem, no worries, no mental distance, and then the boredom sets in. So take it as a good omen. That is why the sleepiness sets in. That is why the boredom sets in. It's a very clear indication. No much of aberration, no much of appealing questions. So take it a point to be glad and try to be in this boredom. As far as you are in the boredom, outside everything is perfect. Then only the boredom sets in. Sleepiness also the same. If there are any kind of a vacuum, any kind of unsettled thing, sleepiness will never come. So they are good things, but don't let them carry you away for a trip. Be aware, now I am bored. Be aware, I am monotonous. Be aware, I am sleepy. So that is almost close to Nibbana. It is frequent visitors, but you don't treat it properly. That is why I thought of giving this kind of interpretation for you to handle it in a very positive way.
Report on walking meditation, Venerable Bhante. I started the session by standing still and being mindful of the feeling of the hard floor against my feet. I then began walking, noting left, right. Once I was in rhythm, I just observed lifting, gliding, placing. I did that for about 10 minutes. For the next 15 minutes or so, I was in a calm state and was mindful that I was walking and my mind did not wander. I only realized that I had been in this state of calm awareness once it was broken and my mind became mindful of the placing, gliding, lifting movement of my feet. Could it be that I unknowingly switched to autopilot mode with metta?
If it is immature shifting happen, mindfulness will be broken and your trend will be broken. If it is not so, if you can still keep the mindfulness, the continuity of mindfulness, seam of mindfulness, you have nothing to worry. For example, in a relay race, the person is coming and passing the baton. Even you go forward and pass not at the crease, even in forward, no problem. As far as you are not dropping the baton, so passing must be smooth. Likewise, that putting this thing into autopiloting, you can try. If the mindfulness disturbed, that you have done immature. If it is not disturbed, that's a trial and error, that's experimenting or research.
Walking. Venerable Bhante, when I do walking meditation, I start by focusing on the feeling of my feet touching the ground. My mindfulness is intact. Did I just read this? Same words. I'll go to the next question. Venerable Sir, we are checking, I think, two different handwritings but the same question.
Same question.
Looks like it. So I'll go to the next one. Sitting, lying down, walking and social interactions. Theruvan Saranai, Most Venerable Bhante. While meditating in sitting, walking and lying postures, I experience fine vibrations which have become prominent and lasting longer periods than before. In sitting meditation and Most Venerable Bhante's Dhamma talk yesterday, similar vibrations were experienced with sounds. Dhamma talk was clearly understood. With body pain and some thoughts, vibrations were experienced. Similar vibrations were seen on the walking path while meditating. I changed the focal point to various objects and I could see similar vibrations. When I see the faults of others and myself, earlier I used to get annoyed. Instead, now I look within and I realize that the anger is created due to the changing nature of the mind, resulting in suffering within. Also, I realize that I cannot stop or control the changing nature of the mind. So I look at the action of the others and myself with equanimity, which gives me self-satisfaction. This is my sincere experience during the meditation sessions. Greatly appreciate your valued discussion and advice. Blessings of the Triple Gem.
The early part is basically about this vibration. This vibration is ever present, just like a canvas of the picture. As far as you are carried away by the picture, you hardly notice the canvas. But there are no pictures without the canvas. Because we can't see the vibration because we are so carried away by the events or spikes and big amplitudes, but the vibrations are just flat. That's not completely flat. there's a little vibration like a datum line. So that's a life continuum, sometimes people call. But it's an indication you are not dead. That's an indication you are not sleeping. That's an indication you are mindful. So as far as you are with this vibration, the other things are happening, good and the bad, and the gain and the fame, lost and the pain and the pleasure, everything. So you are so much carried by these vicissitudes, hardly you can see boredom, the borderline, the datum line, and that vibration is utterly boring. Once familiarized. When the first you understand, of course it's an achievement. That is why we make hobbies. That's why we make passing time with so much of thing. We hate this continuity, that when and where you are contented with this vibration, that is called the contentment. Usually people are never contented. They are always be content with external sources, external luxuries, external fame, gain. But the vibration is utterly internal like. But even then, it is not belongs to you. So it is, you can be with it, take it as a pivotal point, take it as a datum line, but that is also not belongs to you. Even you enlighten and die, passed away, this will be remaining. So you are taking refuge of it. As far as you are in the vibration, you are utterly free from physical, verbal and mental misdeeds. So pure thought moment, only thing is boring, only thing is monotonous. And this vibration, not like the other spikes, other waves, no beginning, no middle, no end. It started, we don't know where it started. It's ever going. It's a huge energy source, but utterly pure. But our distracted mind, filthy mind, defiled mind, never happy with that. But when the defilement reduces, occasionally you see it. And ultimately the day you take refuge of it, even though not claiming me, mine, myself, and you can see it was ever coming and asking the attention, we never give the attention. We always happy with liking and disliking, pleasure and pain, gain and the lost, all the kind of thing, but the vibration never recognize the space and time. So try to be with it, and the vibration of you and the vibration of the Buddha is the same. Vibration you and the vibration of the person sitting behind you, maybe a successful meditator or not successful meditator, exactly the same. That vibration is worth calling humanity. As far as you are not there, your life is partial. Your life is bias. Life is stereotype. So when you see it, that vibration is there in the sitting posture, walking, standing, lying down, while talking, everything. So there you find that it is like a seam connecting all the events, but hardly we recognize it. Even we recognize, we never consider as an achievement. Achievement is always external, but this is internal. So safely we can say, we can advise, try to be with vibration wherever you go. Whenever you have any trouble, refer back to the vibration. Vibration never give up or incredible. It's always credible. That's the intrinsic characteristic to say you are living. And be with it, put up with it, even if it is boring, even if it is monotonous, so that all the events will be less and less important. Moment you understand the vibration and try to facilitate it.
Venerable Bhante, when I do walking meditation, I start by focusing on the feeling of my feet touching the ground. My mindfulness is intact. Yet within 10 minutes, my breath disappears and cannot be felt for the entire duration of my walking meditation even though it is not the primary object. This happens automatically and sometimes even lasts the whole day. Is this good or bad? Is something wrong with my meditation? Please advise. May the triple gem protect you always.
Walking meditation and breath is far away apart. Don't compare these kind of things. In the sitting you may or may not be the breathing, but in walking, don't worry about that. Walking in there, you have to find the touch of the feet. And even though it is not my primary object, it is not seen, why you make an event out of that? How it became a case? So unwanted thing, you are trying to have a relationship and you mess up. You complicate the situation, make it as simple as possible. When as far as you are walking, how much you can be with the left leg, right leg, that decides the mindfulness. And when it is happening, how the other person's heartbeat, how the other person's blood pressure and sugar, if you do not know, why you are maintaining this bullshit into the interview report? So this is how you make the simple thing complicated and difficult to understand the question. Maybe I have overlooked the question. If it is so, please correct me. I can't find any relationship why you are worrying about this breath in walking meditation. Even it happens just to say ignore. Just take care whether the mindfulness is intact or not.
Walking meditation and sitting meditation. Where walking meditation is concerned, since I have thorough practice for about 6 months, while I walk, I feel myself like an auto-driven vehicle, because I feel the primary object is a very subtle way, but I am walking happily, no other thoughts whatsoever. I am starting about sitting meditation. From the day I came, I felt that I was developing mindfulness with your guidance. Whenever I sat for meditation, there was the feeling of air in and out. Sometimes very clearly, sometimes in a very subtle way. One evening, I kept on meditating for a longer period. I felt emptiness, lethargic feeling, and as if I am in solitude. But I didn't stop meditating. Instead, I thought, emptiness means no worries, no frustration, neither regrets of the past, nor the planning for the future. So I thought, why worry when there is nothing? With further meditation, I realized the beauty of the Dhamma, the noble truth of Lord Buddha. I felt very glad, because if I stopped meditating with emptiness, I would have had lost this realization. Now, melodies and pictures are seen and heard, but don't attract and won't get registered in my mind. Your guidance and clear sermons gave immense knowledge, because elderly or old means gold.
Only this kind of interpretation you can expect by elderly people.
I think I have developed mindfulness to a certain extent, but I know still there is a long way to go. Today being the 8th day, I hope to receive some constructive criticism on this report. May you achieve your spiritual aspirations by the blessings of the Noble Triple Gem.
Wherever you may be, once you straighten your objective, once you clarify where to look into and what to report, the whole thing you have to trod up to the target is just a hobby. Only thing is you must know when you are sitting what to look into, and we are writing the report, what to report. Then path in future is just a hobby. Already you are already like enlightened. But definitely you know what to do. That very knowledge, that is to see, what is to report, is the third noble truth, Nirodha Satya. Once that you know, Marga Satya is obvious. If you do not know Nirodha Satya, what to look into and what to report, whatever the path past, whatever the in future, everything in a mess. You can't understand what is the path. So therefore, moment you become clear in here and now, what to look into and what to report, the path in future is you have 1,000 and ways and means, because you know you are sure for here, now. So make sure you are here and now clear. When you sit, what to look into. When you are talking in meditation, report, what to report. If that is not sure, make it clear. Otherwise, you may be faithful, you may be energetic, you may claim you are mindful, concentrated and wisdom, but no directions, not directed. It is split, and internal flighting is happening. So, moment it becomes, in Pali it is called Eka Rasa, all the faith, the energy, the mindfulness, concentration, and the energy is well directed. Then you feel kind of a taste, contentment. You feel the path in front of you is a hobby. It's a glad game, and as if you have achieved. And you smile happily, you march happily. It is no more a burden. So therefore, clarity in the present moment, even if you do the starting step, no problem. Even in the middle, no problem. The clarity you develop is a kind of an interaction. You also must be dedicated. The Dhamma also must be listened and discussion must be happen. And then one day that clarity happens. And then onward, it's like a bird. You have to just fly. Oh, it's like a hobby. So till that it's very sour. It's so much of regimentation, so much of imbalance. But ultimately that is also part and parcel of your meditative life. It is also kind of a beauty is there. Because you are not fighting for any gain, fame, but for the realization. Once you realize, you understand the early mistakes, trial and error, but nothing to throw away. They give the background and one day everything will get aligned. So this report is to say some kind of alignment is happening. But you know, huge path you have to cover. But you can do it in a happily way, glad game. So maintain this confidence, maintain this clarity, so much so the balance will be almost like effortless. Things are happening. Walk the path smiling in a lighter way, that easily you can feel in the present moment. If the present moment is very light and clear and the see-through is there, path is there, and path is very happy. So try to maintain this situation so that balance will be very, very least frictional way, and mostly mind will associate in the comfort zone.
Question on practical Dhamma. Dear Venerable Sir, how can one determine whether they are naturally inclined towards Vipassana or Samadhi meditation? Is it possible that an individual does not have a natural inclination towards one or the other? Is it possible that an individual oscillates between the two over time with metta?
Yeah, all the four combinations can happen, but the safe haven is it is not a must for you to understand it. Moment you try to understand, it will be utterly go against the mindfulness. So they are kind of a categorization for the sake of theory. So as far as you are mindful, natural unfolding happen. So all these things comes when and where direct touch, practical experience go behind and your rational thinking come forward. This kind of set of question can come. Everything is eccentric. You never raise this kind of question when you are mindful. So therefore mindfulness is a leader, and whether you are samatha inclined or vipassana inclined, no problem. Once the mindfulness is come up to the maturity, it has its own guiding capacity or leading capacity. So therefore your rational mind only can disturb it. It never can promote. So therefore don't worry. Then there's a question, why if it is so you are teaching it, why the Buddha is teaching it? Because it's a map, it's there. You can be either, you can be one, you can be morning to evening changing. So therefore those who know about that can understand how changing it is, how difficult to make a theory out of that, a theorem out of that. So the people are unacquainted with always thinking, how can I know the theory, how can I know the theorem? And safe answer is, whenever the mindfulness come up to the maturity, you will be qualified to understand theoretically or rationally or practically. So therefore it is not a must for each and every yogi.
Dear Bhante, other traditions teach other meditation techniques like the generation of bodhicitta, visualization methods, body scanning, etc. But these techniques all involve volitional action. The mind has to be directed somewhere. Now that mindfulness has been learned, these techniques seem pointless. Why are there so many other techniques taught, and why is true mindfulness so rare? Question 2. Why are there always more women than men in meditation retreats, but more monks than nuns in monasteries? Question 3. What is a Loku Hamuduruwo?
So that Lakshmi will answer that.
Later maybe. With mindfulness.
The very first one is, just like bodhicitta, just like the other meditation, you have to direct your attention, volitionally involved even in mindfulness. Mindfulness is not a natural occurrence. You have to first advert the mind to the mindfulness. Then only mindfulness will take care and autopiloting will happen, just like any object. So therefore, volitional involvement, you can't say mindfulness is safe. Because mindfulness is not a natural selection. Never. Always Buddha has to come and tell you. Otherwise, naturally, individually, we will never select. And after that, instead of mindfulness, some other may take karuna bhavana, metta bhavana, all the other kind of thing. So these are the branches, these are the prolific, robust growth of the spirituality. Is not a problem. They are questions, they are not the question, they are answers. Do everything. Do everything, no problem. The basic thing is, if you wish to get a license for a car, you have to go with one or the other model. And once you got it, license is valid for all the models. So therefore, whatever the method you access into, select it, whatever may be the most favorable one, that's it. Go into there, wherever you go, you are, just the Buddha says, wherever you go, you poke the finger into the sea and taste it is sour, salty. That's it. Wherever the sea. So Dhamma is the same. So before entering into, don't worry about the lot of techniques available. Whatever may be favorable, whatever may be appealing, you start. So therefore all the techniques is more and more answers than questions. But in Sinhala, we call moda vadua avudath ekka pora badana. There is a proverb in English also. The foolish carpenter is messed up with too much of tools. But the tools is not the problem, it's an answer. So if you know which one is to use in which, and you go and consult your parents, at their time there were no much of meditation techniques, no teachers, no much of meditation masters. So we have, just like as if when you go to the junction, we in Sri Lanka even, we have Chinese hotels, Japanese hotels, 5-star hotels, 3-star hotels, Muslim hotels, and Sri Lankan Pollatukade, everything. So is it the ugly thing in the junctions to have so much of hotels? No. Go to whatever is favorable for you. And don't look down others, so don't think they must be away. That is the way it is growing. So therefore mind your own business. And male, female, the Buddha says, till you come up to the Udyabhya Jnana, you separate males and females. After the Udyabhya Jnana, there is no male, femininity and masculinity. Everything is arising and passing. So till you know that, you have women's rights and the female popularity, female population and all the kind of thing. So where is your mindfulness? Mindfulness is choiceless awareness. This is choosy. So choiceless awareness giving the answer, you have to be aware. Yes, it is true that knowledge is not a question, it is an answer. And the Lukahamduru, Lakshmi will decide, Lakshmi will teach. And the last one is,
those were the three, Venerable Sir. Why are there always more women than men in meditation retreats? But this is a good part, but more monks than nuns in monasteries. And why can't the women go to the upper monastery?
Everyone can go there. 12 to 1:30 is free. Anyone, anytime.
Without permission?
Yes. Because it is the Dayakas are always going 12 to 1:30 anytime. It is open for visitors. No, if you wish, you can tell and give something to the office, no problem. But if there's a board is there, 1 to 12:30 is visitors' time. Even if you are a Muslim, or even if you are a serpent, or if you are a dog, no problem.
Venerable Sir, the men are forever going up to the upper monastery and getting extra sermons from you and extra kamatahan.
That the foolish fellows are coming and telling. That is the only mistake.
No, Venerable Sir, the mistake is the Dhamma is not being practiced equally for both sexes.
I have to take care about the upper monastery, so I up there. And the down, I take more hours with you. Still you are not happy.
They get both.
No. That if it is so, I will close this, the meditation center. Don't make problem to the monastery. So this is a great achievement.
Yes, I know.
That is the mistake of female, don't know enough. Always fighting, always fighting.
We want equal rights.
No, this is not the equal right, this is a fair rights. The Buddha never gave equal rights. You read the Bhikkhuni Vibhanga, you read this thing, and it's a misunderstanding. Because Buddha says that genetically they have these differences, he knows what to tell. He has told in the monastic code very clear. And only thing is, all the bhikkhus must know female monastic code. All the bhikkhuni must know male monastic code. You can't make it. It is not a decision. You have to accept it. So the last time when I was in Toronto, the conference was on the Buddhism versus science, mindfulness as the bridge. So I also went there. the last session, the question came, the high ordination of the females, bhikkhuni order. And individually one asks, are you accept or not? So that is none of the theme of the conference. And I also was there. Luckily the nun came, she was known to me, and she came, she is a nun, bhikkhuni. And she went to the Pandita side. Pandita side goes, I am not accepting. You are a good person, but I am not accepting bhikkhuni order because I am representing the monks, we are not accepting. You mind your own business. And luckily, same question asked me. Then I told, we have a meditation center. We accommodate bhikkhunis. And we are not discriminating the bhikkhuni or sila mata, nothing else, but they have their own rank. We give 4 requisites. Meditation center and the monastery is happening. No problem. I am not accepting bhikkhuni order. You are not accepting or not? No, I am not accepting because I am representing Galduva Sanstha. If the Galduva Sanstha is accepting, I accept. Otherwise, no problem. Practice is there, but you can practice. As far as the practice is concerned, higher ordination, no problem.
That's true.
Then we can ask why only little people become nuns, others are not. So everyone can become nun if it is promoting meditation. It is not. And see the monks, those who have the high ordination, do everyone practice? No. What is this nonsense? Mindfulness try to remove this friction and see it's a human right, everyone can do it. Being so, how can you maintain this hierarchy as well as the mindfulness, as well as your likings and disliking, as well as your community idea? Difficult. Mind your own business and be mindful. Simple. So when I give the answer, all the senior monks were so happy. They said, you escape in a nice way. Then I told these bloody fools, it was not in the conference. That is their agenda. That is their agenda. So mindfulness is really indicate what agenda behind your talk, what agenda behind your writing. It's very clearly one can understand if you are simply, honestly mindful. Not the word, between words, the agenda you can see. It's dirty, it's ugly, it's defilements. The simplicity is very pure, and you have to accept it. And you can adopt it, definitely, that much I am sure. We being human, whether male or female, ordained or unordained, for the mindfulness, that is why my best mindfulness was when I was a lay person. That's why I am a happy monk. Before becoming a monk, I know all the monastic things and kind of thing. I came here not to get infested with this hierarchy and kind of thing. Just be a citizen John. Just siribiris. Okay? We have about 10 minutes. Is it the end of the written questions? Or?
We weren't sure we could finish all the questions, Venerable Sir, so we had kept 3 for tomorrow.
So we have 10 more minutes.
The next one is on sitting meditation. Most Venerable Loku Swamin Vahansa.
That is the meaning of Loku Amutru.
In sitting meditation, after cessation of breath, mind gradually goes to a deep state. In choiceless awareness, it's a blank state and the body feels hard, feels like a tree trunk or sometimes very hard brick. Can stay in sitting meditation for a long period of time in the same state, but time to time
gets carried away by a thought and soon comes back to the blank state. When sleepy or tired mind gets carried away by thoughts for a few seconds and automatically comes back to the blank state with a jerk. Dear Bhante, this is the report of my recent sitting meditation. I am very grateful to you for your yesterday's Dhamma talk, as it helped me a lot. Thank you. May you be blessed with the triple gem to go through the noble path.
To comment upon this event of getting a jerk and come back to the normal sense, that the jerk indicate before the jerk your memory was not there, object was not there, and all of a sudden the memory and the object appear. It's a kind of a shock. And more familiarized, the amplitude of the shock will be reduced. So that is what kind of a mastering we do. But it is not a must. Some only will get it. So you have to familiarize it. So now you know the end of the unknown area. What about the beginning of the unknown area? The once you go prepared, the jerks can happen. Jerk is the end of the unknown area. So if you are attentive, vigilant, you will see the unknown area, the unknown episode has early signs. The boredom, disappearance of the objects, and kind of a turtle tuck into the shell-like, everything cumulative happen. So when it happens, one day you will understand the episode also has its own the beginning, the middle and the end. Only the end is now recognized. End is being pointed. Now it's a high time the particular person to understand the unknown area, it is entertaining its own beginning, so be alert. That is the way it says, whenever happening such kind of thing, go prepared. So not only the end of the unknown, one day you will see the beginning of the unknown. And the third aspect is, at the maximum, you may understand within you are in unknown. That's called awakening to a dream. Awakening into a sleep. It's also possible. So that is how now you know the end. And if you can see the beginning, then you can see one day you go into a unknown and you can report, you can experience while you are in unknown. No friction, endless, and the utter comfort, no center, no words can explain, no time, no space. When and where before the beginning and after the ending, always we are trapped with the time and space, so much so we are beast-like. Whenever you are awakening into the unknown within, then you can understand the human mind. Human mind means a kind of a advanced mind, emancipated mind, liberated mind for a temporary period. It also appears like an accident. And the day you enlighten, you feel that is your real home. The senses, whenever we are engaged in senses, it's a rigorous imprisonment, torturing. It's whacking you from morning to evening through seeing, hearing, smelling and touching. Only the unknown area, no friction, you are not related to the senses, but still there is a very subtle way to understand I am living, I am awake, I am not unconscious. It's a task. It's a superhuman task. So this is the starting point. The end of the thing now come as a jerk. I feel like something wrong, but senses are the utter wrong thing. So you can live anindriya patibaddha without connecting to your senses, and still you can live as if you have gone from gravity atmosphere to the gravityless, so there everything is floating. You can't imagine, because we are born and we are developed and we die in the gravity, so we think everywhere is gravity, but within the space, the gravitational forces are less than 1% of the space. All the others are without any gravity. So if you happen to go to space, you can't apply anything what you have learned here. Because you are brought up in gravity. And therefore our mentality is bounded with gravitational time and value, space values. They are traps. And that's a very clear indication is your eye, the ear, nose, tongue. But this kind of no memory situation, ESP, extrasensory perception, is beyond your the organs or your senses, and that is very unpolluting. No one can infest it. But the thing is, when you go there, you go for black magics, thinking something wrong. You go to the psychiatrist, thinking something wrong. You go to the physicians, thinking something wrong. Because you have been lost from your home, so therefore you misunderstand these organs as your home. When and where you are at home without no any senses, you feel quite strange. You feel you are sick mentally and physically, so that change must happen. So this is a good early sign, so you have to master it, understand this end sign, that you have to understand the early sign of the unknown, and then only you can be happy to be unknown, happy to be without memory, happy to be without any object, without feeling. So it's a kind of a radical kind of a reflection.
If you go to a certain, if you go to a space like that, do you come naturally back? Or?
So you have to go and see. You have so much of fear of freedom. So what will happen if you not come back?
That's what I...
You won't get any friction, no suffering, no frustration.
Yes, sir, but your mind, does it come back to back to the suffering,
yeah. Back to the samsara,
yeah.
Back to this torturing. So yeah. we have to have a assurance, I will enlighten if you can have my fair share of suffering. So it is not by force, it is we requested. We have so much of identity. Identity only happened to the friction. Identity never happened to the nothingness. Nothingness you can't have any claim. There was no time, no space. So therefore it appears like a lost. It appears like a mishap. So that phobia is the main block, what you call avijja. You never get enlightened because your mind is with the phobia. You are always happy with everything is surrounded by, and whenever things are fading off, you become nauseated.
When you meditate, does it can happen one thing?
But
just going to another space like that. You get lost and then you feel
that is what we are talking. We lost, and when you come back, you know. And rationalize, you say, before coming back, you are in unknown area. Before you wake up, you are in unknown. Morning.
If you just look at the beginning, middle and the end of the sleepiness, I think, can we go to a such?
So it's also a macro level experiment.
Yeah.
The micro level also the same. So if you are ready to see how you go into sleep, and if you consider it as a good thing, exactly in the meditation also when the object disappears, if the nothingness happen, when nothingness sets in, if you can sacrifice your whole body and life and pay everything to the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha, and okay, I am ready to go. So in the sleeping, you can do in macro level. In meditation also, it's a kind of a micro level can happen.
Thank you.
Not it is dementia, like the last time.
Sitting meditation. In the sitting meditation, the primary object is rising and falling. After a few observations of this, the attention automatically goes to the sensations of the body, to the top of the head and face area. Warm, tingling sensations are felt down throughout the body. It's like a warm shower flowing down in slow motion. While these are observed, the rising and falling is also felt in between sometimes. After a while, a feeling of sinking into a quiet darkness is felt, like submerging softly into a dark pond. It feels calm, quiet and still all around. When here, after a while, incidents, thoughts occur, like watching a movie. It's not clear at this time if it's dreaming or not, because it's a feeling between sleep and awake, like a state of awakeness but also dreaming. Suddenly, awareness came back to the body again, and the rising and falling is felt. Throughout all this, there is a commentary going on in the background, like a cricket commentary, like someone else is noting and commenting on the happenings or instructing what to do. After a few observations of rising, falling, the same quiet, calm feeling surrounding is experienced. This repeats throughout the sitting. This has been the experience for some time. Thank you, Venerable Sir, for your compassionate guidance. May you be healthy and happy.
The early part it said the flowing nature, sinking nature. The early report it mentioned that it felt like a log. This is the language of the elementary characteristics. When they are manifesting, you feel through your body the fluidity, the sinking nature, the log-like nature or hardness. So that indicates the mind is really within. So just let it go. Just let the mindfulness to run. And when it happens, so you see, there is a kind of a passing the baton from earth element to the air element to the heat element, like there's a kind of a thing happen. They take your body as the stage. So don't claim it or disclaim, just observe it. While you're observing, it's a very clear sign for you to be happy, glad, because you're utterly mindful. And you feel the body, not always comfortable, but it's a clear sign mindfulness is there. Okay.
The next is a question on, I think maybe Dhamma. Most Venerable Bhante, during sermons and yesterday's question and answer, you have covered the topic of pain. Observe physical pain and mental pain during meditation and daily activities. These are different. Please advise on how to overcome mental pain. From my practice, the more I look at mental pain, the deeper it gets established, harder to uproot. So let it go. Does such mental pain get transferred to our subconscious or unconscious minds? When I look at physical pain, first it gets worse, then understand its source, then it disappears. With metta, Theruvan Saranai.
The pain and the pleasure is two lobes. He's talking about the pain. Pleasurable also mental and physical. Pain also mental and physical. So whatever senses related, eye, ear, nose is physical. But there's a shadow. You have likings and disliking. So when that is happening, the physical pain happening due to the external stimuli. The mental pain is internal to external. Physical when it's external to internal. So these are the two things. And mental pain It indicates your likings and disliking, your culture, your upbringing. And therefore, same thing happened, two people interpret it two ways. So therefore, try to understand the physical. Physical is something coming and without stimuli, without kind of coming and striking, that cannot happen. Whenever it happens, you are projecting something, your value judgment, it's good, it's bad, it's neutral, like, that is mental. So mental one is coming in to the out, physical one is coming out to in, and there the Buddha says, therefore, the mental feelings and kind of thing, very, very conspicuous, if you are mindful. And very gross, your likings and disliking. And it never happened without a cause. When and where it happened, not it is happening. But still, how quickly it happens, the very understanding and faith says how much you are happy with pain. It is called sadist. Everyone. They are always happy to talk about pain. Man, very classic it appears. So, and pass it to someone. That is what the gossiping means. You make something sour, something astringent, and try to share with others with so much of expectation of sympathy. Just like a young children. So this is the whole literature on earth. No one can pacify you. No one. Even with Maha Karuna, Buddha is also not taking that contract. Impossible. Because you are liking for suffering. Sadist. Each and everyone so happy to talk about suffering, that you don't know. More you talk, more you fertilize it, more you feed it. So therefore understand the mechanism. The mental suffering is something coming in and projecting out. Physical sound is coming out and inflicting upon you. Just see, when the lightning happens, the earth is full of negative ions. The top is full of positive ions. When they come, there's a thundering big light happens. But we think lightning striking to the trees and now electric equipment. No. The earth gives the surge, that is what killing. What is going here to up is the most dangerous, not the up to down. Lightning happens, two things come together. Surge is the one kill you. Surge is the one kill your equipment. Surge is the one killing your plants, not the striking thing. So these two you have to understand. When the air comes from out to in, we call in-breath. When it goes from the out into out, we call out-breath. If you can't discriminate the in-breath and out-breath, how can you explain physical and mental suffering? This physical part. External comment to in, we call in-breath. And once it is in and going out, so you have to ask, can I understand in-breath versus out-breath? Make sure, then you are qualifying you to understand the mental and physical suffering. Physical is coming out in, mental is coming in, out. So these are one of the ways we can explain. So while keep on practicing, these things will be more and more prominent and conspicuous. Yeah. So we are going to stop the session now because we are already taken more than 10 minutes. So we are going to have around 50 minutes for our walking meditation. With that announcement, we are going to sum up today's question and answer session. Thank you very much for the participation.